Yo, what's up, goons? Welcome back to Explore the Weird.
Hello!
Where we strap on our reality seatbelt, roll up the like button, and dive face first into the creepy cosmic burrito of the unknown. Today's Goon File is something else. It's kind of weird that melts your brain and stirs your third eye like a pot of cursed chili. We're going to New Jersey. Yeah, I know, that's already terrifying. To an abandoned town with one of the wildest legends I've ever read. This is the story of Ong's Hat. A ghost town, a portal, a cult of mad scientists, a government conspiracy, and maybe, just maybe, a glitch in the whole dang simulation. Strap in, goons. This one's going to be thick. Let's start at the top. Ong's Hat is a real place, or at least it used to be. If you pop into Google Maps today, you'll find it's basically nothing but some trees and the sand in the middle of New Jersey's Pine Barrens. But back in the day, it had a name, and that name stuck. Legend says it was named after a man named Ong, who got into a bar fight at a dance, got heated, and flung his hat up into a tree where it stayed. And that's what people started calling the spot. Sounds like the kind of backwoods folklore that probably started with moonshine and ended with a ghost. The Pine Barrens themselves, a whole vibe. We're talking million acres of forests that have been home to bootleggers, outlaws, weird creatures, and more than a few missing person cases. The Jersey Devil supposedly lurks there, and people have reported everything from UFO sightings to haunted ruins to cult activity. Basically, if you want to get lost in more ways than one, this is the place to do it. But Ong's Hat stands out even in a place full of strange, because it didn't just disappear like so many other little ghost towns. It became the center of one of the strangest internet rabbit holes of all time. We're talking flyers, zines, early websites, stuff that started circulating in late 1980s and exploded in the early 2000s, drawing in researchers, conspiracy theorists, gamers, mystics, and just plain weirdos like us. And what did all these people find? A story that starts with science, detours through the mysticism, and ends with a portal to another reality. And here's where my brain starts doing backflips, goons. I mean, think about it. What if these files weren't just stories? What if the reason they feel like a leak is because they were? You ever think about how fiction always seems to predict real science? Star Trek communications, Minority Report ads, neural nets? What if Ong's Hat wasn't fiction predicting the future, but the future leaking into fiction? Like someone left the back door open and ideas from the Delta world spilled out into a dumb little dimension. Like, oops, guess you're not ready, but here's a taste. I swear, the moment you start thinking like that, the moment you start noticing the pattern, everything starts looking suspicious. Every PDF, every static noise, every rabbit hole you fall into at 3 a.m. when you're on the like button and watching weird grainy YouTube videos with 5 views and comment from some guy named Other You Are, who's clearly not human. I'm just saying, but I'm just saying. Okay, deep breath, back to the documents. Let's talk about the Institute of Chaos Studies, the supposed organization behind the Ong's Hat experiments. Now, this wasn't your average think tank. They weren't applying for grants or writing peer-reviewed papers. According to the lore, these were fringe minds, the kinds of people who either got kicked out of academia or left on their own because they didn't want to color inside the lines. It was made up of scientists, philosophers, hackers, mystics, and people who just didn't buy into the official version of reality. And when they all found each other, they supposedly built a hidden facility in the Pine Barrens, way off the grid, where they could work without interference. They believed consciousness was the missing piece in our understanding of the universe, that you couldn't unlock the secrets of space-time or matter without unlocking the mind, that the human brain wasn't just a tool, it was a bridge. That's what the egg was built for. It wasn't just a machine, it was a spiritual technology, a method of syncing brainwaves to the hidden rhythms of the multiverse. They claimed there were naturally occurring dimensional nodes, like rips or thin spots in the fabric of reality, and Ong's hat sat on one. They trained their minds, tuned their bodies, and eventually they started sending people through. And when they came back, they said they weren't alone on the other side. Sounds a lot like the CERN portal and the beings that they saw there. The dimension they claimed to find was like Earth, but quieter, emptier, not just lacking people, but lacking something essential, like a blank version of reality. Trees were there, rivers flowed, cities stood, but everything felt hollow. Like walking through a stage set that was waiting for actors to arrive. Some called it the Delta world. Others said it was the Earth before consciousness took root, an echo or maybe a backup copy, some kind of failsafe from the early code of the universe. But not all the explorers agreed. A few of them came back deeply shaken. One refused to speak for weeks. Another started drawing spirals and symbols all over his walls. Another insisted he hadn't come back alone. That's when the real paranoia started. They talked about shadow things, entities that moved only when you weren't looking, that existed in the space between seconds, that studied human visitors like we study insects, that were aware of the crossing and didn't like being seen. And these weren't just hallucinations or bad trips. The scientists claimed they started detecting anomalies here in our world, radio interference, sudden cold spots, electrical devices shorting out, and most disturbing of all, dreams. Visitors to the site started dreaming about being watched and being pulled back into the Delta world, about something knocking on the walls of their mind. When this story started gaining traction online in the early 2000s, skeptics came flying out of the woodwork, keyboard warriors, Reddit detectives, internet debunkers with usernames like Flat Earth Wrecked and Chemtrail Cuddler 69. They all had theory. The most popular one, it was just an elaborate ARG, an alternate reality game, like a pre-internet version of a viral campaign, a hoax wrapped in mystery sprinkles to sell a book, or maybe just really dedicated art project. But here's the issue. The timeline doesn't add up. The pamphlets and files were circulating before ARGs were a thing, back when dial-up was king, and you had to yell at your mom to hang up the phone so you could stay on AOL. You got mail. There was no market for viral marketing, no framework for it. So, if this was a game, it was way ahead of its time. And then there's the fact that people went missing. That's right, some of the OG investigators into Ong's hat straight up vanished from the internet. Their blogs, gone. Their email accounts, bounced. Archive.org pages, scrubbed clean. A digital ghost town. There are even stories of people getting late-night phone calls with static, whispers, a dial tone that shouldn't exist anymore. A few claimed they heard modem sounds, like something's trying to connect, even in 2025. So, was it a game, or was that the cover-up? A clever mask to hide real leaks. Maybe the project leaked too early. Maybe the government or something bigger needed a way to make people laugh it off. Because if you frame the truth as a joke, no one takes it seriously. And that's the ultimate conspiracy move. Okay, but Goons, pause. Because what if dreaming about Ong's hat isn't a side effect? What if it's the delivery method? Like, what if the story is the virus? Hear me out. You read about Ong's hat, then you dream about Ong's hat. Then you start to forget things, then you remember things you didn't experience, and you're like, wait a minute, was my toaster always red? And then bam, you're in the Delta world light. Now with 30% more dread. The town that doesn't exist starts living in you. You become the carrier, the antenna, the dreamer that dreams the dream into existence. Look, I've been down the spiral before, and it always ends with me staring at my bathroom mirror, trying to remember if my face always looked like what it does. Deep breaths. All right, let's go back to the facts. Kinda. All right, Goons, time to break it down. Here are the top 5 theories about what Ong's hat actually is. Theory number 1. It was a test run for an ARG, and it worked too well. This one says Ong's hat was created by fringe artists and writers to mess with the public, like a reality experiment, but it gained a life of its own. It spiraled. People got obsessed, and some maybe went too far down the rabbit hole, like Blair Witch, but psychic. Theory number 2. The government leaked it on purpose. This theory, Ong's hat is real. The tech was real. The interdimensional travel was too real. But once it started spreading, they leaked a version with just enough fiction to make it deniable. Classic misdirection. Theory number 3. It's all psychic. The egg is your mind. Some say there's no machine, that the egg is a metaphor, a thought experiment that hacks your brain and unlocks parallel experiences. That once you read about Ong's hat, you start to drift, because your subconscious starts looking for the seams in reality. Theory number 4. It's a real place, but only sometimes. This one's for the missing 411 crowd. Maybe Ong's hat exists in the liminal space, like Skinwalker Ranch or the Bridgewater Triangle, a spot that occasionally overlaps with another world. Step in at the wrong time and you're not in Jersey anymore. Theory number 5. It's alive. This is the creepiest one. Some say Ong's hat isn't a town, it's a sentient, psychic entity, an idea that feeds on attention. The more you think about it, the more real it becomes, and the stronger it grows. So by listening to this right now, you might have already fed it. All right, Goons, let's paint a picture. You're walking through the Pine Barrens. It's way past the point where your phone has signal, and your flashlight keeps flickering, like it's scared. You stumble on an old building, half buried in sand. Inside, there's a metal pod, shaped like a giant capsule. It's humming, pulsing, slightly like it's breathing. The door's cracked open. On the wall, a sticky note. Close your eyes, let go. Would you get in? That's the question at heart of Ong's hat. It's not just about what's real, it's about what you'd do if it was. Would you roll up the like button and throw yourself into the void just to see what's there? Would you press your forehead to the glass and hope to wake up in a better version of Earth? Or would you back away slowly like you knew deep down that it's already too late? Because maybe the egg doesn't need you to find it. Maybe it finds you. And there you have it, Goons. Ong's hat. The town that's maybe not a town. The portal that might be real, fake, both, or neither. A mystery that refuses to die because it might just be alive. This one isn't just spooky, it's philosophical. Philosophical? I don't know. It's something. It gets in your head, rubs its feet on the welcome mat of your subconscious, and it kicks its shoes off like it lives there. So tell me, what do you believe? Was Ong's hat an art project, a leak, a cover-up, or a real portal to the weirdest part of the multiverse? Would you get in the egg? And most importantly, have you ever had a dream that didn't feel like yours? Smash the like button like you're slapping a government drone out of the sky. Hit the subscribe so you never miss a new Goon File, and drop your weirdest dream story in the comments. I want to hear what haunts your head at night. This has been another Goon File. Stay weird, stay alert, and if your voice whispers Ong's hat in the middle of the night, don't answer. Just run. There should be videos on the screen right now. Click on either one of them to continue the Goon Fix. The one in the middle, you can subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.